What does it feel like, Jolyon, to win a derby like that as a City player?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. Obviously, it's derby for both teams today, but in the bigger perspective of the league, Man City will be looking at that thinking now we're closer to Liverpool and all focus will go on to that game, even though there is a game midweek, but they knew they had to win today. With Liverpool winning, what that does for their morale in terms of the late goal they scored, it was important that Man City come out with 3 points today.
And at the moment, since Christmas, as I say, 9 times out of 10, apart from the draw with Chelsea, they're coming up with the answers, and a lot of them from losing positions as well. Yeah,
again, it's showing character. I'm sure they wouldn't want to use that part of their game. They would want to rely on just being comfortable. And they was comfortable for majority of the game. Obviously, the early goal for United changes the perspective of their game, allows United to sit a little bit deeper, but you expect Man City to score 2 goals. I know they've probably averaged over the course of the season, but they are scoring a high number of goals and they're asking the best of the opposition.
Yeah, they're up to 62 goals for the season. No coincidence that the top 2 are the highest scorers. The top 2 have the most points from losing positions. They're setting the standards again. I mean, we'll get into next Sunday later, but I mean, it's set up beautifully, isn't it?
It was, yeah, it is. 3 teams going at it. And today was vital for them, though. I mean, if they had lost today or dropped 2 points today, all of a sudden they've pretty much got to go to Anfield and win. They've probably got to beat Arsenal. I mean, all of a sudden, the gun was to their head. And they came up trumps, especially having a bad start as well. So it was a massive win for them. They're still, got a real fight on their hands. This is a 3-way title running. Arsenal go at it tomorrow. You'd expect them to win. And then we have some mouth-watering games, as you say. I'm sure we'll look at them a little bit later. But this has got all the hallmarks of one of the best title run-ins that we've seen in a long time. And we've seen some great ones in recent years. But if we get 3 teams going at it, it'll be special.
Yeah. If Arsenal win tomorrow night, the top 3 are back to being separated by just 2 points. And as Michael says, next Sunday, and City have to play Arsenal.
Yeah, it's exciting. As Michael said, there's a big run of fixtures coming up now. They'd have been nice in April, I think, but we've got them in March, and it's big. You want to beat your rivals. Beating your rivals. City go to Liverpool next week and beat that's massive. I think they'll win the league. But it's a tough place to go. We all know that Anfield's the toughest place to go. Playing really well. But I think we're where we want to be in the title race. For a few years now, it's been a little bit predictable. City have run away with it. It's been a little bit boring, to be honest, the last 5-6 games of the season. But this year, with a bit of luck, we're going to have 3 teams who are still capable of winning the league. So, look, anything can happen. It's who's... City have got the experience, you have to say that.
And how important is that? Because a lot of Liverpool players haven't since they won the league. And we know what happened to Arsenal last year as well.
Yeah, I think it's more important... Arsenal, that'll be a factor for them in terms of experience. Liverpool have been there and thereabouts. They know what it takes to win as a club. Obviously, there's new members of the squad that haven't won the league, but the club factor last season, Anfield, is obviously an intimidating place regardless of who's selected. So the experience for Arsenal may be a factor, but for Liverpool and City, I just think they'll be used to winning. We've seen them go on runs of 10, 12 games, consecutive wins, and I think that's a standard now, and that's why I put Arsenal 3rd favourites, because I haven't seen them produce a run of 10 wins in a row, which is the new normal.
OK, let's get back to this game, because you got teased, didn't you, with that start from a Manchester United point of view, with that strike from Marcus Rashford. I mean, what a start to the derby from a United point of view, and from his, after all he's said this week.
Yeah, look, it was a brilliant goal. It's where we expected Manchester United to be dangerous on the counter-attack. It's a big ball. And Diaz does get done by Fernandes, who is quite clever. We saw McTominay make the burst forward that we expected as well. The one from midfield trying to join in. And it's a lovely layoff. And look, Marcus, we all know Marcus has got that ability. It's not been seen a lot this year. We know that. But he's always capable of this type of goal. And as you rightly said, it gave us a little bit of a sniff. It gives us a bit of hope, something for United to hang on to, which is the way they played. That first half, there was one chance for Haaland. I think, well, he should have scored, no doubt about that. But United looked reasonably safe. City weren't creating too many clear-cut chances. And like I said before, when you play that way, when you've got a lead, it looks okay. Everyone thinks it's brilliant. It's a masterclass of a tactician performance from the manager, but it isn't really. You're just on the edge of the box and you've got 11 men round the ball and you're just hoping for counter-attack. But once you're once you lose goals, once you go behind, Man United don't really have the answers, and they didn't have the quality of Manchester City. They can't keep a spell of possession for 3 or 4 minutes. You just don't have that quality, and as you saw there with the team at the end, a little bit unrecognisable, really.
I think that played out as well, didn't it? When the board went up 8 minutes at the end, you're expecting, right, Manchester United of old will be 8 minutes to get an equaliser. I don't think they had a touch in the opposition box. It was it was City, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're more hoping it's not going to be 4 or 5-1 than getting it back to 3-2, 3-3. Yeah.
Aren't you?
And was that the key change in that plan as soon as City scored in that second half?
As soon as City went ahead, yeah, I think a draw is acceptable still to play that way. But as soon as they go ahead, then it looks awful, because then you look at United and think, right, we're behind. You've got to try and come out and play now, and try and put pressure on City. Try and keep the ball for a spell. Try and get Marcus Rashford in down the sides, Garnacho. Try and bring your best players into the game, but they could never really get a spell of possession. The midfield did okay defensively for a while, but when you're playing against a team like Manchester City, you hardly kick the ball. So it's difficult to really stamp your authority. And again, look, Manchester United are the only team who struggled against them. Every team in Europe almost struggles against them. But look, United have to get better. They have to improve in a lot of areas if they're going to compete with that team.
Before we see the special strike for 1-1, which was pivotal, as Paul says, it was a big talking point. In fact, Eric Ten Hag got booked for his protest. Marcus Rashford with Kyle Walker. Were you happy there was nothing given here?
Well, I thought it was correct that nothing was given. I don't know why Marcus Rashford was trying to sort of run across his man to start with. He wasn't even in control of the ball. The ball's going away from him. Surely you've got to control the ball and then cut across your man. And it felt to me, felt to the referee, felt to most people, Andy Townsend in commentary, I thought called it spot on. I don't think there was anything. And actually, he would have been back in this position, potentially just to cut that ball out, Steve. Here we see it. I mean, he's been lying on the ground for a minute or so. If he was back in, he would probably, his position actually is there. That's where he should be if he was not lying on the floor prior to that. So it might have been able to prevent that goal, let's say, stopping it at source. And that's why Eric Ten Hag was upset. I get Ten Hag arguing the case, but I didn't think it was a foul.
I thought he was just worried about Kyle Walker. Yeah. He forgot about the ball and thinks, I've got to get in front of Kyle Walker. It happened 2 or 3 times. You think of the first half when he had the header. He's conscious of Kyle Walker. And Kyle Walker at the minute has got that influence on people because he's so quick.
Yeah, and again, even there, when you look at the contact, his legs go. At no point should you pull your arm and your legs go. If his body was to rotate, I could understand he's knocked him off balance. But the fact that he just collapsed would suggest he's wanted to go down. It was more of a dive than it was a foul.
And let's have a word on Foden's strike. I mean, we talked about Rashford hitting it sweet.
Yeah, again, sensational overall game. But this goal, it was going to take something like that because United were compact and it was hard to break down. But when he cuts inside, I think you'll see, if you see the goal again from another angle, the pitch opens up, and I think any later it goes wide if he strikes it any later. But yeah, for me, defensively, players can be too honest, and I think McTominay's been too honest by tracking the runner Rodri, and it just creates more space for Phil Foden. And if he stayed in a position where he made it harder, then I think he may get a block on the shot.
Phil Foden's been brilliant this season. I don't know how many league titles he won, 5 or 6 league titles already,
5.
and he's had involvements in it. But I think this season he's took it to a new level where his goals at important times are winning Manchester City league titles. Potentially winning league titles at this point, and that's when you take your game to another level. He's still 23 years of age. There's so much to come from him. And look, it's worrying for the rest of us. It's worrying for Man United at the minute, but he has become a league winner, not just contributing every now and again. And all his goals are important goals. City was struggling at one point there, then he produces something like that, and all of a sudden, bang, it all opens up, he scores again. Which, you know what, I thought the keeper should have done a little bit better with the second goal, but he's starting everything, he's taking that responsibility. At 23 years of age, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, this is his second goal. I wanted to ask you a question about the first goal, but we'll look at the second goal here. I mean, I thought Erling Haaland, his movement away just created that big space as well. But at this point, after he scored his first goal, he's on top of the world, isn't he? He's so confident. Just look at this gap between Varane and Lindelof, just open up there, really wide, a bit of movement. from both Haaland and I think it's Alvarez on the ball there, and it just opens up. And as you say, maybe the goalkeeper could have done better.
Casemiro, Michael, look at Casemiro there as well, getting 1-2. For defensive holding midfield player, that's criminal. That's the first
The
thing.
gap shouldn't be that far. When Phil Foden receives the ball back,
the gap shouldn't be that far. And Casemiro, the experience he's got, he should not be getting 1-2 in that position.
I actually think he made the wrong decision when shooting. I thought that the right decision was to square it to Haaland, who's got an open goal to score, but obviously the outcome was a goal, so it tends to be the right decision.
The goalkeeper has to do better as well,
Yeah.
Michael. It's such a soft, weak hand there. It's not a hard shot.
Just going back to, well, we'll have a look at this again here, but we see the way it all opens up perfectly for Foden. It's a great finish. From his point of view, it's a great finish in the end, and that was the killer blow. And as
You've
I
got
say,
man if he misses, though.
Yeah,
you're thinking, I've got to tap in. I've literally got to tap in.
Yeah, he was screaming, wasn't he, Haaland? But just going back to the first goal, I'm interested because Foden's got the ball there. Of course, he's very left-footed. Where do you stand with sending him down onto the right-hand side, or as a midfielder, as a centre-half? You're both in a similar area here. Do you want to bring him into the bodies?
No chance. He
down
has
onto
scored
your
the
right foot.
If you remember his chance in the first half where he went clean through, he could not wait to get on his left foot. You saw how uncomfortable he was going to the right-hand side, and he struggled. His finish was nothing really. It was a miss kick. So if you let him, a player of that quality, he can do so much in his left foot. He can play somebody in just down the side on the angle. He can do that, what he did. He's got to go down the right-hand side. Now look, he's playing against a centre-half who's playing left-back. You think if that's Luke Shaw, he's right up against him. He's not giving him any time whatsoever.
But Lindelof is trying to show him down the line, but he's obviously not cut off the inside. He's not making it more obvious, more predictable, because he's trying to show him down the line, but he's giving him the inside. So I don't understand. There's obviously no communication. Again,
he's nowhere near aggressive as Joel. You think he's coming into Lindelof's strong side.
Yeah.
That's where he should be. Just let him go down the outside. The amount of times he went down the outside in the first half, he can't cross the ball with his right foot. He'll try, but there's odd time it goes into the keeper's hands. He's far less effective when he's going down the right-hand side. Left-hand side, like I say, he can play. He's got the brilliance to play somewhere. He can go in, he can play a 1-2, or he can smash the ball in the top corner. So keep him on his right side as much as you can.
Now, not only his influence, he's actually had more shots in a Premier League game than he ever has today, more touches in a Premier League game than he's ever had today as well. And now his numbers for goals, he's broken his own personal record, 16 in all competitions, so he's now on 18. And he's also into double figures on 11 in the Premier League as well, which has equalled his best ever tally in the Premier League as well. So that really does tally in with what we're saying about his influence this season. His goal numbers now are off the scale.
Yeah, he's obviously set a new record for himself, but I think the importance of him is elevated due to the absence of other personnel. I think it's easy to recognise what Phil Foden brings when he's the one player that stands out. Again, he can be overshadowed by Haaland. The volume of goals he scores, Kevin De Bruyne creates moments of brilliance. But when they haven't been there, Phil Foden's just continued his level. And it's been obviously more recognisable due to him being there.
He started to... Look, he's a better footballer than Frank Lampard, but Frank Lampard scored goals and won leagues for his club from a midfield. You know what I mean? You expect centre-forwards to do it. Haaland, you just expect his numbers. You expect Michael's numbers when the team's doing well. But from a midfield point of view, you've really got to take the game by the scruff and not say, right, I'm going to get us back into this game. I'm going to win us leagues. I'm going to win us games. I think Frank Lampard was like that. I think Phil Foden is starting to do that goals-wise. Look, Phil's a much better footballer than Frank Lampard was, don't get me wrong. But Frank won leagues for his team because of the contribution he made in midfield to big games, especially. And Phil Foden, I think we're seeing the same type of thing.
How impressive are those numbers? Given he's played in 2 or 3 different positions this season, he hasn't had perhaps the continued role that Frank Lampard had in a Chelsea team.
Well, Scholesy touched on it before the game. Obviously, we highlighted Foden and his influence, and we touched on it. He can play absolutely anywhere across that front line. I mean, there's some players that are very specific to their position and really need to play in a certain position, but he can be equally as effective. In fact, at some point in the first half, we said, "Oh, look, Foden's actually moved. He's changed. He's gone out wide from that number 10 role." So, you know, he can play in so many different positions. He's played even as a false 9 when Haaland's not been in there as well. You could even see him, you know, in a ball playing team like Manchester City. You could even have him as an 8, as a pivot or anything. And he's that good. They have the ball all the time. I mean, he can literally play anywhere. But of course, you want him where he can influence. The hardest thing in the world is to create and score goals, of course. And he is brilliant at it. So you want him as near to the goal as possible.
Do you know what? Also, not just Phil Foden, but I think you have to bring John Stones into it. We've got 2 English lads there who are absolutely brilliant for Manchester City. I try to think, when you get your team sheets through before the game, as John Stones at centre half. I really don't know what position he is. He plays everywhere. Yeah. There was at times where he was receiving the ball in the opposition box. That's your centre half. It's brilliant. It's brilliant to watch.
OK, let's talk to the man of the moment. Phil Foden, 2 goals in a Manchester derby. We last spoke to you a couple of weeks ago after a match ball at Brentford. What a time you're having. What a win from behind today against United. How does that feel?
Yeah, special to do it here at home as well is even more special. It was a bit disappointed with the first half because I thought we controlled the game, and to be fair to Marcus, it's an exceptional finish. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed in the first half. But yeah, we come out in the second half and played our football.
And talking of exceptional finishes, what about your first goal?
Yeah, I've been practicing on my finishing this year quite a lot after training, and yeah, I'm really delighted with this one because I feel like I can do that more, come inside and shoot. So yeah, I'm delighted with the finish.
Did you think this was in as soon as you hit it?
Yeah, you just feel it, I called it right, and yeah, I just knew it was going in.
Phil, it's Michael Owen here. I was just wondering, watching you play today, watching you play and actually this season, you've got so many big hitters in your team, match winners, world-class stars. You're now obviously in that conversation. When people look at Manchester City, it's always Erling Haaland going to win them the game. Is Kevin De Bruyne? Now people are saying, is Phil Foden? Is that going to elevate you to not just, top standard in our country, but world standard? Now you're seen as that player that can change games on your own.
Yeah, definitely. I want to be that player. I want to win games for my team. I feel like I have the quality to score a lot of goals, and I think this year I'm proving that more. I'm turning up in big games, and yeah, I want to keep doing that, and that's the aim.
Scholesy was on about as well before the game. Is it something that, if you can continue this and maybe even do it then at international level, then we're going to be talking about, I'm not going to put Scholesy, well, you said it, Scholesy, you said you could be the best England player ever. Have you got to do something in England shirt as well to be able to become that?
Definitely, yeah. I've got to, like I said there, turn up in the biggest games, and I've got to do it for the national team as well, and not just for City, So, yeah, that's the determination that I have, and I want to keep putting the work in on the training pitch because I know I can get even better, and I'm still young and improving.
You've ruined Scholesy's day today anyway, but he's still going to ask you a question, Phil. Go on.
Yeah, cheers, Phil. Well played today, mate. What I was going to say, look, I know you've won 5 Premier League titles already, and you've obviously been big parts of them title wins. I think now you've took your game to another level where you are actually contributing in massive games, big games like today, and getting your team started rolling again today. Are you enjoying that further responsibility you seem to have in the team these days?
Definitely. Yeah, I've got a good run of games now as well. I seem to be starting a lot more games. I think that helps to find my feet. And yeah, I can play in multiple positions, and no matter where the manager puts me, I think I want to be involved in goals and always make the box. And it's coming off well this year, and I still think I can score even more. I was disappointed with the chance in the first half. So yeah.
Phil, just finally, obviously you knew you had to win. You're back within a point of Liverpool. You go to Anfield next Sunday. You're talking the big games there. Mm-hmm. How big is that? A point between you first against second and Jurgen Klopp's last experience of the fixture?
Yeah, it's massive. It's a stadium that we never seem to win a lot, so it's going to be a challenge. And yeah, it's the games we want to play in as players, the biggest games and the biggest occasions. So hopefully we'll be ready for it.
We will see you there. Very well done today, Phil. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
That is Phil Foden live for you from the Etihad. And he's right, they haven't got a good record. 2 wins in 32 visits to Anfield. The other side of the coin is defeat for the red side of Manchester today. Here's the United captain, Bruno Fernandes.
Any complaints about their first goal. You just said it came from us first having a chance, and certainly I think Rashford thought it was a foul and your manager thought it was a foul.
I don't know, I haven't seen. Obviously, Marcus said he's let a small touch, but we know at the pace they're running, any touch is it can put you down. But as I said, I can't tell you that if it was a foul or is a complaint. I only said that it was a chance for us, and all of a sudden turns out as a chance for them, and we're not compact enough. And obviously, it's a great goal by Phil Foden. We can't say much more.
You were before today and have been for a while behind where you want to be in terms of the fight for the Champions League. Even though they're a top side, how much damage does today do?
Every time you don't win a game is a damage at this club. We know what this club demands, and we want to win every game that we are involved. Today was not different. We tried. Yes, as you said, we could have done things better. That's for sure. In every game we always can, but we didn't get the 3 points today. But it's still a long way to go. We know that it's not everything in our hands, because obviously we need other teams to lose points. But we have to do our job and win our games.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much.
Yep, defeat for him on his 150th Premier League appearance for United. He's talking there about fourth. I mean, would that need some sort of miracle for United from this point?
Yeah, I think so. They've obviously got to get past Tottenham and
Villa.
And Aston Villa. Villa's still looking good. They haven't got the experience, I don't think, going into a running where the pressure's really on them to try and finish fourth. But United now 11 points. I think it's very difficult. When I was here a couple of weeks ago, I thought they had a chance when they beat Aston Villa. I thought, yep, great chance. They're going to lose to Fulham. You can't lose to Fulham at home if you've got any ambitions of getting that fourth spot or fifth spot, which may be possible. Fifth spot is probably the best thing they can hope for. What are they, 6 points or something, I think, behind Tottenham, who look all right as well, Tottenham. So he was right there. I don't think they can't afford to worry about anybody else. They're playing that poorly themselves. They've just got to worry about themselves and try and win the games they've got in front of them. Everton next week, it's just unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to get. I have no idea. Can we... Losing to Fulham at home when you're going for a top four place, it just... I don't know what you expect from a season when that's happening. And I think they almost have to play defensive against everybody. Because when they play open, I think the manager wants to play open. He wants to play attacking football. As he said in his interview before the game, I want to dominate the opposition. I don't think they're capable of doing it. They can create chances and score goals, but they don't have the other side of it. They don't have the discipline in midfield. The centre-halves they're just not good enough. They're not Man United centre-halves, because at some point, you're going to have to defend one-on-one. They all want protecting. And it leads to a Manchester United team that are nowhere near good enough to be competing with the likes of this team today. And something's got to change. Whether it's recruitment, I don't know. Something has to change at that club, because what we're seeing is a million miles away from a team that should be challenging for the league. Every single season, it's just so far away. And
you say change. We don't know the answer to this question, but with the new football ownership that's come in, if they aren't even fifth or in the Champions League reckoning, would that put further seeds of doubt in the new ownership's mind about potentially changing the manager if Champions League football isn't there next season?
I think they've already made their mind up. I don't think it'll be there next season.
Don't you?
I don't know. But from the interviews we've heard from Sir Jim, I thought there was a little bit of negativity towards the club the last 10, 11 years, and especially the last 2 years. I don't think he's happy with what's going on. I wouldn't be surprised if they're looking for a new manager now.
Even if they finish fifth and get Champions League football by some route, you don't see him...
No, I don't see him. I'm not saying it's the right decision. I feel a little bit sorry for Ten Hag. He did well in his first year, won a trophy. Then he was looking to kick on that second season. And he's had so many injuries. To be fair, he doesn't make the excuse. I've said it a few times. And a lot of teams do get injuries, but he's had injuries to big players. I can't remember him picking the same back four for I don't know how long, and that must affect you. I just think with new owners that go anywhere, they always tend to change the manager, and especially with the way they're playing, where they are in the league, and what it's been like the last couple of seasons, I just think they'll make a change.
What do you think? What's Scholesy saying there?
I think they should make a change. I said it a couple of months ago. Scholesy thinks they're going to, but I'm not sure whether he thinks they should. I think they should. So
it's all the manager's fault for you?
Not all the manager's fault, of course not. I mean, the players go out and play, but his signings have been pretty average. I still watch Manchester United, and I have no idea what they want to do at all. If someone says to me that doesn't watch football, what type of team are Manchester City? I go, oh, they're a ball-playing team, love attacking, blah, blah, blah. Liverpool, Tottenham. I can ask them, I can give have an opinion on every. If someone said to me, what are United? I'd go, I don't know really. Are they a possession team? Are they a counter-attack? Are they sit back and counter?
Rubbish.
Oh, rubbish. Yeah, I probably. Yeah, an average team. But I genuinely don't. And that has to come from the top. That has to come from the manager. We're going to have a certain way of playing. And I've said it a million times. Even if that means you go through a bit of pain. Listen, Manchester United have had a lot of pain for a long time now. They can probably take a little bit more just to have a direction. And I just don't see what that direction is. If they go to Manchester City today and play open, attacking football and do 5 or 6 great moves and score a couple of, but get beat 6-2, but that's their print now. Okay, they're not good enough because certain players, but that's how we're going to play. And we're going to play in a
bit like Postecoglou.
Exactly. Whatever.
I think Michael's right word there is direction. Where's the direction of the club? And
I just don't know where.
When these best teams, it take a little bit of time to get going, like Manchester City. You felt them coming. Liverpool, when they started to get better and better, right? These are coming. These are going to challenge for the league. And I won't say I felt that total at the end of last season, but I felt it was getting better. Now it just seems to have gone even worse. You don't feel like there's anything coming for. I know. Did Sir Jim say 3 years, possibly? I think that's going to be tight. I tell you, I'd snap his hand off now if it's 3 years.
I think that's due to. I think it gets closer when Pep and Klopp leave. I think then it's a leveller in terms of how close other teams are.
They can't hang around and wait to see when's Pep going to leave, can they?
That's on default. But going back to what Mo was saying then, I'm sitting closer to him in terms of I think they should make a change because regardless of what they achieve, you don't know how they're going to play. Like, as bad as, say, Burnley have been this season, you still see what they're trying to do. And they're making mistakes doing what
you just look after your mate, Vincent Kompany.
No, but any team. But even Luton, you cannot recognise what they're trying to do.
Get beat every week.
Yeah, but recognise... But Man United won't get beat every week, obviously, because they have a higher level of player than Burnley.
It's debatable.
They've lost 11 games this season.
But
they lost 9 all of last season.
You can't recognise when they get the ball at the back. Like, it's not by design, whether they're at possession or in possession.
That's a good point, actually, because they changed the goalkeeper to start playing out from the back, because this is the way the Dutch football that Ten Hag liked to bring. Forgetting that his centre-halves weren't that comfortable on the ball. His right-back didn't really want it. His left-back's not that bothered, so...
How much longer can you go, though, spending and spending and spending? They're the biggest spenders out there.
We're going to hear from him in a second, but I was going to point out that he has the highest net spend of any Manchester United player.
And you've not even got an end game. Like, what's your end game? And then work back from... Everybody that runs a business knows that you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a target. You've got to have an end game. And then you work back and say, right, how are we now going to, execute this plan? For 10 years plus, Manchester United, oh yeah, he looks good. Let's have 80 million on it. Oh, that goalkeeper, yeah, he's great with his feet. And another 50 million there. And
the worrying thing is, now look, I don't know who does recruitment. I've no idea, but I think the manager is playing a big part of that, which I think a manager should play probably the majority parts of it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, but then equally, do you live or die by those decisions then?
Yeah, of course you have to. But the 2 of those players he's brought in, one for 88 million, he had at his previous club, and he thought they were good enough to come from Ajax. And the goalkeeper, that's
Martinez.
That's the 2. And Martinez as well, who's... Look, he's been OK. I don't think he's a Man United centre-half, but he's been OK and they do miss him. But the other 2 have been... The goalkeeper's been disappointed, really disappointed for a lot of money when they had a really good goalkeeper in David. Look, I say a really good goal, but I thought David had come to the ends of Manchester United. He was letting a lot of soft goals in. But Anthony's the one. You're talking, I think it's 88 million.
Third most expensive player in United's history.
And that's the worrying thing, that he's actually had him at another club. I think he can come and cope with this. And look, if you buy Anthony for 20 million, you think, yeah, OK, you can half take the hit. But when you're buying him for 88 million and what we've seen from him, and the manager knew him, that's concerning.
Interesting. 100 games for Erik ten Hag today, then it won't be memorable for him. Here's what he thinks of it.
Of course, you'll be disappointed and I dare say frustrated, but do you have at least the sense that your players have given you everything today?
Oh, they did. They gave everything. And we had 2 players on the pitch. They were not 100%. Johnny Evans and Marcus Rashford. And they gave everything, as the whole team gave everything. And I think the performance is very good. Only, of course, we are disappointed with the score.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus Rashford in particular seems to be hobbling from quite early on in the match. So there was a few Manchester United players today, was there, who really put their bodies on the line for the club? Absolutely,
they fought in togetherness, but also the performance was very good. And on the other day, we could have won this game. And in small margins, if Rashford is through, and then we can go for a second goal. If Garnacho is through, we go for a second goal. But in both moments, in the counter-attack, we got beaten.
So, yeah, is that the big regret at 1-0? There were moments, weren't there, where you could have made it 2-0 and from there perhaps it's a very different game?
Absolutely. Especially I think Rashford had some very good opportunities also to score another goal, but also Garnacho had his moments. And I think the plan went well. As I say, it was very small margins, so all the credits to City. And how they play and how consistent they can play. But the way we defended was brilliant.
Yeah, you said the plan went well. Tell us about that plan, because it was a slightly different setup from what we'd normally see from you.
Yeah, it was a free roll for Bruno, and to pull players out and to get runs in behind. But there were also moments, Bruno is a very smart player, also to find his moments to get in behind. And from there on, we created the chances, like the 1-0.
What did you make of their equalising goal on the touchline? I saw your reaction. You're obviously booked. I think it's about as angry as I've seen you. So, what can you tell us about what you made of that?
No, let's say this. It's a very debatable. I think there was contact, and a defining moment in the game, as was also the 2-1, where a reckless action of the goalkeeper of City, and then in the counter attack they scored the 2-1.
Yeah, okay. I actually didn't spot that. But so you thought, have you seen back for the first goal, Kyle Walker on Rashford? I think you just said it's contact, but I wonder if you've changed your opinion slightly, having seen a replay.
It was soft, but when you are in a full sprint and you get a little touch, then you lose the rhythm, and that's why he went down.
You mentioned injuries to Rashford and Evans. How are they both in terms of the future?
I don't know. I can't tell you. They had to come off, and I preferred to stay them on because I think organisation was very good, and Johnny playing brilliant with Rafa in the centre, a really good and well defended, and Rashford defended well, but also in the break we know is his quality, and he could have scored another goal.
Despite you enjoying lots of your teams or lots of aspects of your team's performance, it still obviously leaves you further behind the Champions League places after Spurs won and Villa won. So how much damage has today done in spite of a half-decent performance?
Yeah, we have one bad performance last week, and also where we didn't play that well. But from this year on, I think we're really progressing. And you have to get some points back, and then you have to win a game like today against City. And there are more games on, still many games to play, and everyone can beat everyone, so things can quickly turn around. So we have to win our games.
So you can still save this season?
Number 5 can also be a position for Champions League. So as I say, we have to fight for it.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Before we go back to the Etihad, just clear one thing up there. He said a reckless action by the Manchester City goalkeeper. He's talking about when Garnacho were through, but I think when we see it again, he got the ball first.
Yeah, he's probably talking about the follow-through a little bit, I suppose, but no, I don't, it's not even a foul, let alone reckless. Garnacho should get a touch, really. Garnacho, he just needs to get, wherever it goes, kick it out of play, whatever it is, kick it sideways, just get that touch first, and it's a penalty, possibly a sending off, and the game could be different, but Look, it was. I'm not sure. The manager was watching probably the same game as I was. I thought City were in. Other than going 1-0 down, I thought they were in total control of the game.
How worried were you just before half-time? Sounds like not particularly, but when Erling missed that chance, I think we were all a bit stunned.
Well, of course, when he scored and he want to score, but I don't care. He can miss this game and this action and 10 more. It's how you react to that. How is the next step? How is the next body language? How is not way to score and continue to do it?
And he always does, doesn't he?
And of course it is. And action to control and swap and make a action for the for the free kick from Kevin. Of course, it's what it is. So football is, it's like that. You score goals, you miss goals, but it doesn't matter. It's how you react to the bad moments or the good moments. This is fine. The top class place too.
Lastly, then, how important was today? Derby, obviously, but with Liverpool and Arsenal and Aston Villa to come and the Cup and Champions League and all of it.
We are not stupid to know that. So we have one more point, one or two more points than last season in this stage. So we are doing really well, quite similar last season. Like we won the Premier League and the treble. But we have another two teams, especially one that last season was 7-8 in the table. Today is flying with all the problems they had. It's like United. I have a respect. Do you know how many injuries they have? So it's difficult, Striker in the best moment scoring goals, today is injured. The central defender, Argentina guy, Lisandro is a top class player and the same, so he's injured. So when that's happened, it's not easy. You're not sustaining for a long time. And Liverpool show with the problems they had, they still are there. So listen, it's not surprised me. So I've been 8 years here. And except one year, the rest always have been toe to toe, and always have been difficult. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
So looking forward to Anfield then, and one last battle with Jurgen Klopp.
Copenhagen is the only eye in my mind.
Thanks for your time.
You're very welcome.
Cheers.
Copenhagen, of course, in the Champions League, they're 3-1 up in the week. Then it's Liverpool. We can talk about that in a moment. But fascinating to hear him saying about the psyche of Erling Haaland there, Jolien, because we all were astonished by the miss just before half-time. But it's the way you respond.
Yeah, he spoke about that a number of times, more so with Phil Foden. He says that's the most impressive thing about the young players there. They forget the last action, whether it's good or bad. They forget it and get on and move on. And yes, he was disappointed he'll miss that and relieved that he got the goal he did. I'm sure he'll be thinking about that, but also looking forward to the next game and more opportunities, because I'm sure he'll score a lot more than he misses under them circumstances.
It's a lot easier being a Man City striker, isn't it? I mean, it's easy to forget about one because you're going to get one probably in 10 minutes' time.
That pass, Michael.
Oh, I mean, that was Casemiro's little loopy. As soon as he chipped it in the air, you went, trouble.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I remember you saying it while we're watching it. It's, you don't want to be flicking it up in the air.
That's the thing. Nothing is by design. The fact that he's got the ball at his feet, looking for an option, means they don't recognise what the pattern should look like. And then he's getting into position, and all of a sudden he's thinking, well, where can I go? I just need to pass it to a red shirt, and he's under the most pressure. And next thing you know, it's 3-1.
Yeah. And just going back to the Haaland point, to say it's vital that centre forwards can put it out their mind. Don't go missing. Keep that confidence. Keep that self-belief. And always put yourself in the position. But it is far easier in a good team. Of course it is. Because you're going to get a chance again during that game, or probably 2 or 3 more chances. It's very easy saying it, but if you're playing for a lesser team and you miss a chance, that's probably the last chance you're going to get for another 3 or 4 games. So it's, so that mentality is easier when you're playing for a good team. But of course you need it.
Aside from his miss, I thought he was quite poor today. But that's the mentality. Even his all-round play, it was like bounced off his shins.
Does that matter with his numbers?
I was just going to say. But the mentality when he thinks, I'll score.
80 in 84 games for Manchester City.
Ridiculous, yeah, it's ridiculous. And he should do that for Man City with the amount of creativity in that team. Then a top-class... Michael would do that. Michael scored 80 in 84.
Thanks, mate.
Maybe a few more, Michael. If he stayed fit.
Guess what? Haaland hasn't got a Ballon d'Or yet, has he? So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, Pep doesn't want to talk about next Sunday. Understandably, they've got to play in the Champions League, but we can, and we will be there, and it's going to be a fantastic match-up again. Jurgen Klopp's last game against Manchester City. Could it literally decide the title, or just be pivotal, do you think?
Very pivotal. I don't think it will decide it. I think Arsenal still believe they have a say in the outcome, but it's huge between these two teams. I think it will decide who finishes higher out of these teams. Yeah, and like Phil Foden said, the record isn't great going to Anfield with the added pressure of or incentive of Jurgen Klopp's last season. It's going to be a very intense atmosphere and a great game to watch.
It's going to be special.
It's going to be special. I don't think City can afford to lose. You know, if it's a draw, then they're still... Because they'll go 4 points behind Liverpool. That means 2 bad results for Liverpool between now and the end of the season. So I think it's really important that City don't lose from their point of view. It's going to be massive.
Certainly is. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your company. Mike and I will be at Anfield next Sunday. But we're back with the Monday Night Football first. Arsenal at Sheffield United on another blue day in Manchester. See you soon.
Thoughts about the Manchester derby? One of the biggest rivalry and City derby match in Manchester is between Manchester United and the blue side of Manchester City. Can you believe it started with the start of England's organised football league, way back in the 12th of November 1881, when St Mark's, which morphed into Manchester City, hosted Newton Heath LYR, the origin club of current Manchester United. The match ended 3-0 in favour of New Heath. Since then there is a total meetings of 191 matches between them. United won 78, City wins 60 and 53 matches were drawn. Ryan Giggs of Manchester United has the most appearances with 36. The top scorer in the Manchester derby record is by Wayne Rooney, who scored 11 derby goals. In the more recent record since Pep Guardiola took over Manchester City and Mourinho, Manchester United, 2016-2017 season saw City winning 2-1 at Old Trafford while United won the League Cup tie 1-0. A goalless draw ensued in the reverse fixture in the league. 2017-2018 season saw them win 1 each at opposition grounds. Then next season City did the double on United. 2019-2020 saw United do the double on City, though City beat them in the EFL semi-final cup tie. Next season saw United do the double on their rivals. 2021-2022 season belongs to Manchester City, who did the double. Last season saw both teams beating each other in their home grounds. Manchester City went on to beat them 2-1 in the FA Cup final to lift the cup. This season's first fixture was played at Old Trafford, where City won by 3-0, Erling Haaland scoring a brace, and Phil Foden contributing a goal.